Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Between the Lines talk show. As always, I have my wonderful co-host Jake. How you doing, Jake?
That's good. I'm wonderful.
Great. And every month we go over stuff. So let's just get into it. Life stuff first. I just got back from a trip that was about a week long. We'll get into that in a bit. My weight is today was 212, but yesterday was 210, so I don't really know what the actual one is. And we're nearing into both my best friend's wedding, which is in June, and my birthday, which is June 16th. So yeah, that's what's going on with life with me. What about you, Jake?
Life with me? Oh gosh darn. Well, I recently had this fucking weirdo live in my house for like almost a week. I mean, it was kind of a weird situation where like this guy was like, "Bro, I'm like dead ass homeless. Can I like crash in the nursery?" I'm like, "That nursery room is for my son when he's born." And he's just insistent. So I guess I let him stay there for a bit. But yeah, it was a fun time. It was an overall great experience. I think my favorite part was initially when this guy got off the plane and went, "There's like a Dunkin' like immediately next to the other Dunkin'." I'm like, "Yeah, welcome to Boston, buddy. Welcome to Massachusetts." That's gonna be the entirety of the East Coast for you.
Basically, yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll go into let's see. I would say video games we've been playing, but I'm pretty sure I know that you've been playing absolutely nothing, Jake.
My life has been, what's the word, ensconced in
Ensconced.
the project I'm currently working on right now,
Which
which
will be-
Xander knows quite a bit about.
Oh yeah.
He might be directly involved in one of the parts of the project here. I may have thrown his ass through a table, yet to be seen, yet to be seen.
Yeah. Yeah, video games I've been playing. I picked up my 3DS recently, and I've been replaying Fire Emblem Awakening, which has been a really great time. The Fire Emblem bug has slowly been catching me. It's honestly, I have a lot of devices that I can just put in sleep mode, but I really forgot just the simplistic joy of closing a lid and having it be asleep, and then you just open it and wow, it's suddenly playing. There's I think it's the tactileness of it. It's like,
Sure.
Either way, that's been fun. Before we really get into it, I'm gonna just bring up the movies I've been seeing, because again, I know Jake's been seeing absolutely nothing lately, I think.
I saw Mando and Grogu recently. That's the extent of me watching new things.
Was it good?
It was all right. I mean, I'm a big fan of the TV show. This felt like a fourth season compressed down to 2 hours, which has its
That's
own
what-
drawbacks, but it is fun. It's not bad. I would not call it a bad. I think it is the worst good Star Wars movie. It is the weakest of the good ones. That is my opinion.
Okay. Yeah, Garrett told me that he also said it felt like a fourth season, and I guess the thing was Disney was like, we haven't released a new Star Wars in a while.
Yep.
Let's do that real quick.
Or they got to meet their quotas or whatever. But
Basically,
I don't know.
Yeah. As for me, let's see. Recently, I don't think we talked about Hokum. Did we talk about Hokum?
no. In fact, every film you're going to talk about, if it's released in the past
Yeah.
month, I am in the dark about, unfortunately.
Yeah, because I don't think we really talked about much in April. So, let's see. I saw Michael. That was good. Music.
Oh, I saw
carried.
Michael.
Yeah.
saw Michael.
What'd you think of Michael?
Oh man, we're doing this thing called the Best and Worst Pictures podcast, where we watch every single Best Picture winner of all the years, and some of them from like the 30s and 40s and even in the 50s are like musical biopics. And the criticisms we have, and let me know if this sounds familiar, are, wow, this is made with absolute total sanitization, where it's just glorifying the best parts of their life while skipping over the interesting darker parts of their life, but all it does is just make it like a musical clip show of the best highlights of how they, like, The Great Ziegfeld is a great example of this. And you watch Michael and it's like, wow, the more things change, the more a century of films have stayed the same. Because when you're making a biopic about someone's life and you got people involved in the movie that are, very protective of that guy, whoever it is,
Yeah.
you're going to get a biopic that doesn't flesh anything out in terms of his actual struggles. I think Michael struggled one time in the film, and that was him getting the nose job.
Yeah.
That was the one conflict he ever had. And then
Well,
everything
it's
else was
that-
just handed to him.
Well, it's that and his dad, where he's like
Yeah,
just
his
keeps running
dad,
away from
but,
his
like,
dad.
I don't know.
And
The
then
abuse
the
was like
scalp.
one scene for 30 seconds, and then it's just never again. It's constantly like mentioned again. It just didn't feel like it was like a part of the presence. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it was there. It was just mostly like he just a more mental kind of thing. So, and then there was the scalp hole, the his hair getting on fire. So that was a big
interesting.
thing.
That was interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, 3.5. Music was what was carrying it, obviously.
Fully agree. 6 out of 10. It's
You know,
okay.
I watched it in an IMAX theater, so that listening to things like Thriller, Billie Jean, and it's just like blasting. I mean, I don't know. It's pretty great.
Yeah, it is pretty great. Got you grooving. On the car ride home, you're listening to some songs you
Yeah.
wouldn't have thought to listen to on the ride home.
True. I hope Jafar Jackson survives Avengers Doomsday.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, Secret Wars is looking pretty big, so he'll probably be in it. But
Yeah, I mean, he'll return. Hokum is probably the best horror film of the year for me. Really fucking enjoyed this. It has like a going through like a haunted house sort of vibe, and it genuinely really made me scared in the second half of the film. So I jumped a few times. I guess they were jump scares, but like it was more like the type where it like, yeah, it's a jump scare, but it's like kind of earned, and it's not your typical one, and it's like that initial like whoa, and then it just keeps going because like you're like still freaking freaked out.
right.
So, and I saw this twice, and I was still unnerved the second time. So I think that's a pretty big thing. Let's see, Devil Wears Prada 2. Genuinely thought it was really good. I think I like it more than the first one. It really touches upon like the fashion industry, and I didn't even think about it that like as much as like newspapers have like died off because of the internet, the age of the internet, fashion magazines, I never thought just how much they freaking have been struggling, because I mean like that like yeah, news like could just go into articles, but like the fashion industry, that's kind of it was a lot. It was interesting to kind of see
Right.
it get touched upon and stuff. Like it was a big, yeah, it was good. Mortal Kombat 2, that was a great time. A lot better than that first Mortal Kombat movie. The 2000, what was it? Did it come out in 2001?
Well, no, the first Mortal Kombat was in the 90s, 95.
No.
I think.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about the newer one.
That was 2021. That was one of the movies that
2020,
Warner
yeah.
Brothers sacrificed for their streaming service to have no box office.
Right. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think that was a good thing because the box office wouldn't have been great. Mortal Kombat 2, though, that was a lot of fun. It was very cheesy, campy. And my man Johnny Cage is my spirit animal. Carl Urban did a great job.
Every single review of Mortal Kombat 2 is saying the same thing, which is that, yeah, it's really stupid, it's not very good, but it's very fun, and if you like that, you can turn your brain off. They've all said the exact same thing.
It got me into playing Mortal Kombat. I started playing Mortal Kombat 9, and I was having a good time with it.
I can never get into those games. I don't like the memorizing a certain button pattern of directions and A's
Oh, yeah.
and B's. And
Oh,
that was
no,
never my jam.
I can't do it either. I go on tournament mode, I click beginner, and I just struggle.
I was always into the intuitive combat systems like Arkham or the Spider-Man games, where it's just like there's 3 or 4 main buttons, and if you memorize what each of them do, you can kind of juck and jive your way through a fight scene. That's fine.
When it comes to fighting games, the only one I've ever excelled at was Smash Brothers. Those combos are really easy. It's Everything's the same. It's just they do different things. So that's great.
Yep.
Obsession. So fun story about Obsession. I had a flight at 9:15 or something like that p.m. and I had gotten off of work at 4, and I decided to go see Obsession right before my flight.
Nice.
So that was a good time.
That's the one everyone's watching.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I just feel like, well, for one, the trailer fucking ruined it. I think the teaser was perfect. That's all they ever needed. The trailer just like, it just plays the whole hand. So like the build up is dead because you know what happens because you saw the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And then like you kind of see like pretty much the highlight reel of what's going to happen in the movie, and I'm just like, wow, this trailer fucking sucked. The movie's good. I mean, it's a great time. It has like a homey YouTube kind of feel to it, but like bigger budget. Well, you know, indie budget. Which I liked. I just think my only problem is that there's just like some predictable beats, and it kind of feels like I don't want to call it a gimmick, but for lack of a better word, gimmick kind of just repeats the whole time. And you're like, okay, I'm kind of understanding what's going on. And what I mean by that is I had to use the restroom at one point, and when it came to a certain scene, I left to use the restroom because I was like, I'm pretty sure I know what's just going to happen. And when I came back, I asked my partner, and he's like, yeah, this happened. I'm like, okay.
Yep, fair enough.
I Love Boosters is amazing, and you need to see it. It's great. It's creative, and anyone who's like super hyper obsessed with movies being realistic will hate this, and I'm glad that they'll hate it because movies.
Well, did you see Sorry to Bother You when it came out?
I need to still. I still haven't seen Sorry to Bother You.
Yeah, that's the hyper realistic or hyper unrealistic kind of like fever dream metaphor movie, you know?
Yeah.
And so Boots Riley is finally coming back with another one. I don't know if he did one in between these, but it feels like he hasn't. And I'm excited to see it. I will probably catch it on digital because I have so much backlog at this point. But yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, he hasn't made anything since. I think. No, he made I'm a Virgo. So that was in 2023.
Right.
And then he also, no, I don't know when that is. Yeah, no, I really loved it. All the metaphors, I was like, okay, I really like these metaphors. And it just like, I don't know, it's a movie that like, you know, it's like, this is why I love movies. You can do things that you can't do in reality. And only a movie can do that. And I love that. So, yeah. There is one scene that was a little too out there for me, but that's okay. I gave it a pass because it was so out there that it made everything else, like, it made me like my brain like accept the kind of world this movie was gonna be. So Passenger I watched as well recently. It's alright. It's not amazing. The camera work's very interesting. I thought it was very creative. There's a lot of creative shots and visuals. So I was like, I don't know, I was pretty happy with that. And there's one, but the story's not amazing. There's one thing I did like though, is that, cause like it's both, I'm assuming you're never going to see Passenger.
So I thought it was a really interesting, really well-paced trailer, like that first teaser when he's pulling over on the side of the road and, you know, bullshit happens. I thought, like, wow, this could be a really, really cool idea and premise, and I want to see it play out. And then I started my project, and that's a whole thing. So,
well, I won't talk about much if you still want to watch it, but I will just say that the main couple in the movie, like for the first half, it's just like one of them really seeing like the scary monster.
yep.
And the one thing I appreciated about the story is that the guy, because it's the girl who's always seeing it, and then the guy, he just believes her, which I liked. You know, yeah. I mean, I was 100% locked in for him to be like, you're crazy, I don't believe this. But no, like, he's like, all right, I believe you. I don't understand it, but I believe you. and then halfway through he also sees it, and so now they both were like, so I really appreciated that, because there's so many of the like 3-star or lower movies where it's like pretty much just one person is being like, I swear this is happening, and the other people are like, you're crazy.
Right. And it's just really frustrating because like a lot of bad movies, the problem is they can be solved with one conversation between two people, right? And that just never happens.
Yeah. It was also nice to see, because like they were a couple, so it was like, oh, okay, well, I mean, this is nice to see a couple believe in each other.
Yeah, I appreciate that too.
Yeah. I will also say, though, this movie does the one thing that I have been getting really annoyed about, where like there'll be a holy object, and early on in the film you got a character getting attacked, and they grab the holy object, and like it like manages to protect them for a little bit, which is always kind of cool and interesting. But then for the rest of the movie, that object never works again. Just
brutal.
Nope, no work. And I hate that trope. It's like so annoying.
Brutal.
Yeah. But yeah, Passenger's all right. And then last night I saw Backrooms in the Dolby, which was really great. A24 managed to get Backrooms for one late night showing at 10 p.m. Because obviously Mando and Grogu are like snatching up every other Dolby showing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had a great time. I highly recommend watching this movie when you can. I really recommend going out of your way to see it in a theater. Because like this is, this is another guy who is making stuff off YouTube and things like that. I think this should be supported.
Yeah, I'm glad that that's like a continuing. It's not just a one-off. Like, even earlier this year when Markiplier did Iron Lung, we were all like, "Oh my god, that's a guy from YouTube transitioning over." And like the Talk to Me guys, oh my god. Even Mr. Guitar Man did that a few years ago. But now there's like at least 3 or 4 this year that have prominently done that, and we're all like, oh hell yeah,
Yeah. So when do I get my chance?
Yeah, when you get your first couple million subscribers, then you can you can join the rest of them.
Yeah.
Go make more Undertale parodies, man. You'll get right in there.
Honestly, maybe I just grind my nose and just suck it up and make things that is popular. But no, I think it was really unsettling to watch, and I wouldn't call it like the scariest thing, but it was very unsettling. The visuals were very cool. It was really good. I don't know if you've ever like watched many like found footage type videos or like analog horror type stuff on YouTube.
Not really, no. I mean, I watched Marble Hornets when it came out, but that's the extent.
Okay, yeah, I was a big fan of the Jurassic Park analog horror things that people have made before. So this, I've never seen the Backrooms videos, so I knew nothing of the lore, but I really enjoyed it. It was good.
Good.
So yeah, but that's all the movies I've seen that are new. I guess now at this point, we talk about projects we've been working on. For me, jack shit. I've been doing nothing personal.
Absolutely nothing. Me neither.
But no, yeah. But enough about me and my whining. What have you been up to, Jake?
All right. Well, this is the part of the episode that's the really fun part. So we've already talked about this on different EQSs, but since they're potentially lost media, I guess I'll re-announce it here. I am, in fact, directing my feature debut. It is a $0 film, and I wrote it to be such. So every scene has like no more than a couple actors or so in the same room. There's like one scene with a bunch of them, but it's very shootable. It takes place entirely in rooms in my house that sometimes double as different people's houses. And I initially what happened is the reason it exists is because you actually were like, you know what? I could really use some projects. I'm trying to go, push my acting abilities, my filmmaking abilities. Give me a script that's really shootable. So I was like, all right. And I wrote like a 60-page, barely feature-length script. That
I said, for the record, make me a short film script, something very short.
I don't think you said short.
Something I can make really quick. No, I did. I said I wanted to make some really short scripts that I could just bang out really quickly. And you're like, yeah. And you're like, can I make one? I'm like, please, I welcome it. And this motherfucker gives me a 60-page script of fucking feature length, and I'm like, what the hell am I supposed to do with this? Fucking 5 different houses. This man's thinking, yeah, you can shoot it anywhere.
Your Honor, you are out of order. This whole court's out of order. In my defense, I will say that the movie is made up of smaller segments, all right? It's like a semi-anthology. It's more akin to Pulp Fiction because it's not really an anthology. You know, characters kind of show up in segments that aren't really theirs. So it's similar to that.
There's one segment that I think I really like that I could do on my own very easily. The rest you gotta find a lot of people casting. There's a lot of logistics and stuff, which we'll talk about because you've been learning that. But what I was going for, my goal, was something that I could like convince people to do really quickly over the course of like maybe a week. Your thing, and you can't say that this is wrong, is taking months.
It's like, I need these actors for this week, right? And then, you know, much time after that, I'll need certain other actors for this week, right? So, you know, everyone can keep going to their jobs and living their life.
Listen, Jake, spend a year in California in a small apartment and see just how easily you could gather people.
Now that is true. That is the one caveat. I was like, okay, I wrote the script with my own house in mind, and I have a lot of rooms in my house.
You keep forgetting this point.
And you're in an apartment in California, and I'm sure the rent is like $50,000 a day, and you have 3 rooms. Is probably what the reality is. So
and I live on the top floor of an apartment.
Ooh.
I can't be like, you know.
So that sounds spectacular. So anyway, I'm taking my script and I'm making it happen. I also got a call from a buddy of mine, Tony, who does the Absurd Show. He has a couple projects which are in various stages of development, but he wants to create his own $0 film. His is set entirely on a beach. That is a lot more logistically, you know, out there than my ideas. He generously asked me to star in it, and he's naming my character after my son. So I will be playing Jack in that movie, which is fun. That's a fun time. But I'm not directing that shit. But yeah, so I'm producing my film. It's all written. It's all scheduled, and I've shot about 25%, maybe 30% of it, almost a third. I've shot a decent amount of it already. I'm actually planning this Tuesday. I'm shooting the first segment because I'm shooting it out of order. I shot segment 2 already. You know a lot about that one. Yeah. I've been shooting bits and pieces of segment 4 because I got to piecemeal that out before the big week. Then segment 1 we'll be shooting this Tuesday and the following Tuesday. But then the Sunday between those Tuesdays, I'm shooting all of segment 3. Yeah. So it's going to be a whole ordeal. It's going to be a whole thing. I'm pretty excited. I'm fairly excited. So I am cautiously optimistic going forward at this point.
Now, do you want to talk about the segment you shot, I think 2 weeks ago now? Was it 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it's about a week ago, I think. It was last week.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the segment you shot about a week ago?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you want to start that conversation? Or?
Well, yeah, I guess so. So Jake calls me up, and he's like, I need one more actor, and I think he'd be perfect for this role. And I read the script, and I said, damn, this guy's pathetic. Now I know how Jake feels about me.
Excuse you, the script said that you had a really well-built body, all right? So I don't want to hear anything about negative slander.
Oh, gee, thanks. Me and my tubby ass will... No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah, I said, yeah, I'd love to do it. The problem is I'm halfway... I'm on the other side of the country. So we split a flight, the round-trip flight tickets, and I flew over to Massachusetts. The farthest I've ever flown was Idaho, and that's the farthest I've ever been. I've only ever been in Oregon and Idaho, and yeah. So now I've been actually across the country in Massachusetts, and that was very nerve-wracking because I haven't flown in years, and obviously I'm going this far, and I'm like, oh my god, what am I doing? It was fun. It was fun, you know. Jake picked me up. It took us about an hour to find each other in the fucking airport, but we did it.
It did. I happened to catch some dipshit dressed all in black on his cell phone, walking like 100 feet away through the across the doorway. I was like, dude, just stop walking and turn around. I think that's you. And sure enough, that was you.
It's so funny because I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty sure if I just walk out these doors, and Jake's like, no, I'm right here. I'm seeing this, and I'm like, what? And it turned out,
as a pickup person, you have to go to the pickup area like that. I wasn't allowed to really drive anywhere else unless I worked there. So I was trying to tell you, like, you kind of gotta come here. And there's a lot of airlines, like, they all have their own separate doorways, so through any of them you're fine.
Yeah,
you'll be in the same area.
What it was that tripped me up was that I've never seen like a airport place have, you know, you walk out and then if you went further there was another lane of driving, like, because where my airport was, it's just one lane. So I wasn't used to the walking, and then if I kept going further, I thought it was just parking lot in the rest of it. So
well, innovation goes west, and we're as east most as it gets. So it's like the weirdest, dumbest roads in the entire country are in Boston. So
yeah, that's true.
For the record, I don't even live in Boston. We had to drive out of Boston to get to my house, and then go back into it to fly you back home.
Yeah, it's that was pretty funny.
Which is objectively worse than if I had just lived there.
Yeah. Yeah, the best part is everyone's gonna be like, yeah, so what was Boston, Alexander? I'm like, I have no idea. I saw it like for 2 seconds.
Yeah, we passed through, you know. Ugh.
Yeah, but no, he's not kidding. There's for anyone who lives in California, for every like Starbucks is like close to each other, double that amount.
Yes.
I'm not kidding. We literally drove. I see a Dunkin', and then we drove a little bit more, another Dunkin'. And then a third Dunkin', and I was just like, "What the fuck is going on here?"
Remember where we shot that car shot with Brendan and Stefania?
Yeah.
So that lot is an abandoned Dunkin', which I told you guys about. But standing in that lot, you can see across the street to the gas station to see the not abandoned Dunkin'. And yes, they were both in operation simultaneously for a lot of years. Across the street, you could walk from one to the other.
I don't understand it. I've tried their coffee. It's pretty alright. I wouldn't call it the best thing.
It's
but
not
for
great.
a large $4 coffee, that's not bad. I didn't try any of their donuts while I was out in Massachusetts, but I went to enough Dunkins there that I was like, well, I gotta try it. So when we came back, I told my partner, I was like, we gotta go to Dunkin', and we went to Dunkin'. And listen, we got Krispy Kreme out here. I'm not gonna lie, Dunkin' is like a tier higher than a grocery store donut, and their glaze fucking sucks.
They're not great. How did Lee like the cookie?
The last day I was out there, me and Jake were driving around, and we did find a very small bakery, which Jake would have no idea about because he does not eat sweets. And
I don't like sweets, man. I don't like them.
They had apple pie stuffed cheesecake and an apple pie stuffed cookie. I bought both. I shared the cheesecake with Jake and his wife. It was very good. More of a one and done for me personally. And the cookie, I brought it home. Lee loved it. Oh my god, he was absolutely he loved it. It was unfair. It was I had it too, and it was unfairly good.
Oh, good. Glad you only got one and can't come back to Mass.
I know, right? Hey, no, that's good. That's good. I want to keep the weight off. But yeah, no.
Alternatively, you can pay give me like a couple $100 and I will overnight FedEx you a couple more cookies.
But to finish the donut conversation, it's kind of funny because I didn't really find them much out there. Maybe there's a bunch in Boston, but out here there's there's so many mom and pop donut shops out here that there's no reason really to go to a Dunkin'.
Right, you were saying that you were like, I want to try all of the small time coffee shops, and I'm like, I don't really know how many of those there are.
And there's
nothing. There's probably some.
Yeah, probably in Boston itself, there's probably a few. But
oh yeah, of course in Boston. But that morning I picked you up. We couldn't waste that much time. We already kind of were later than we should have been. And then the last day, When we went to Boston, we had to take a train, which means that we ended up right at the terminal, which is right near the airport. It didn't really make sense to walk back out into Boston because we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We just wanted to get to the right place.
Exactly. It's fine. No, I actually was surprised. I would have thought there was a lot more small time shots where you live, which there were. It just wasn't like a lot of like food places and stuff.
Yeah.
But
I will say this though, and you re-extended the favor that should I fly out there, or me and my wife, or just me, whatever, we'll crash at your place. We'll have a great week or two of adventures and parties.
Oh yes, 100%. That I look forward to. But yeah, no, I get there. I didn't get much sleep at all over the plane because I basically flew overnight and couldn't fall asleep for a wink. The plane rides, I had 2 plane trips. There was like 1 layover, and it was fine, nothing too bad. The first one was like 4 hours, and the second one was like I think an hour and a half or something. It was a little dicey though because I remember the first plane was delayed. We were delayed because some other passengers had to get on because their flight got messed up or something. And
happens all the time.
And I remember I called Jake and I was like, I have no idea, but I might miss the second flight.
It's funny too because I panicked for like 5 minutes and then I was like, wait, if your flight's getting delayed because the previous flight's connecting flight was delayed, there's no reason that your subsequent flight won't also get delayed, especially from the same airline, because it's the same reason.
And they waited.
So I stopped panicking pretty quickly.
Yeah, they waited, so it was fine.
Because the absolute worst case scenario is if like your flight was delayed and then for some reason the connecting flight didn't delay to accommodate that, and you were stuck in Maryland? Like that's so far from me. I can't go pick you up. That's crazy. You'd have to get another flight.
Yeah. But yeah, it was all well and good. Made the flight. We were fine. Jake drove me to his house. It was lovely location, lovely area. His house is really cool. Has 2 doors in his bathroom. That was interesting.
Yeah. So I'll try and explain that a little bit. It's kind of hard without demonstrating like a diorama of the house. But like the apartment I live in is an in-law apartment, and the main house is where my mother lives. So depending on what billing company we talk to, I either live alone or live with my mother, or we pay rent. We obviously pay rent, but like it's a situation where like if it's the electric bill, oh, we're one residence, obviously. But if it's like the propane bill, oh no, I have a separate residence right over here. So you can kind of spin it either way. But the point is, that house was designed to be an in-law apartment. So you walk in, there's a hallway, and that one hallway connects all the rooms and the bathroom at the end of the hallway, as in most houses have a bathroom at the end of it's like second door on the left or the right or whatever it is. And so the homeowners before us were like, we got this big-ass backyard and this tiny little house, this little apartment here, so let's add in this massive living room. That's why the living room is like the biggest room in the house. Yeah. Has all kinds of electrical outlets. It's a little more modern. And the living room, just based on the geography of the house, if there weren't a second door in the bathroom, you would have to walk to go. The living room would just sit right against it, and you would have to go to the bathroom by walking from the living room into the kitchen, into the hallway, into the bedroom, into the bathroom, and then walk back out of the bathroom into the bedroom, into the hallway, into the kitchen, into the living room again to watch TV, which makes no sense. So the only solution to that is, of course, to knock a new door down into the bathroom so you can walk straight in and straight out, and now the bathroom has 2 doors because it's a big circle.
So it was funny. Every time I went to use the restroom, I walked over to the door that was leading to Jake's bedroom, locked it, and then and then unlocked it.
Shut that door.
Yeah, it was quite bizarre. It was an interesting experience, to say the least.
I will also say that of everywhere I've lived, it is the only house with 2 bathrooms. Yeah. 2 doors to 1 bathroom in it.
Basically,
strange.
Yeah. Jake set me up in the nursery, aka the old recording studio.
The old Ump studio. I don't know if you took any pictures there. We can put them in here. We can compare and contrast the popcorn buckets.
I did not. That felt a little weird. And yeah, I mean, I didn't sleep a wink, so that first day was kind of brutal for me, but I wanted to hold through because I wanted to help Jake succeed as much as I could. At this point, I'll let you take over because pretty much this is for you now. So
yeah, sure.
Let's
So
hear it.
To comment on the lack of sleep there, I noticed because we were together for 4 days, or technically 5, because the 5th day was flying back
Yeah.
out, but really 4 like big fun days. And the first day you were here, it was all gas, no brakes. You were big energy all the time, and then every subsequent day, because you had like 2 hours of sleep here, you were awake for 30 hours there. Subsequent days, you were on like low power mode, like a desktop computer, and I was worried. I was like, "Is this dude like fallen down? Is this dude okay? Is he healthy?" But as soon as the cameras roll, you like, it's like you pulled the adrenaline out of you and acted as much as you could, and then as soon as we called cut, you were back down to like, like it was so funny to see like, wow, this guy is like in full control of his metabolism to be able to do that.
Yeah.
So I much appreciated that you never phoned it in.
Yeah,
is
of
what I'm trying to
course.
say.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I like to act, you know, as much as nobody will ever cast me.
I'm like the only one.
Right? Yeah. No, I enjoy acting. Yeah, I was in low power mode, but I mean, like, I'm wearing a hoodie in 400-degree weather in a house, and we're turning off the AC constantly. So I'm just like,
Right.
I gotta make sure I don't just expend my energy as much as possible.
Right, and the AC worked that first day really well.
Yeah.
And then the second day it worked slightly worse, and then the third day it was like it wasn't even on.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell was going on, and so it really felt like it was probably 90 outside. It felt like almost 80 interior, and the scene called for you to wear a big hoodie and my lead actress to wear a leather jacket.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for both of you. And I was like, as soon as I call cut, you guys just rip off your tops. I don't care at all. Please.
Yeah, there was
And
a lot of
so-
time I just sat next to the AC and was like, okay.
Oh yeah, because one of the couches had the AC spot where you sit down, you just get blasted, and it's
Right.
the best feeling in the world.
Yeah.
And so the worst among us would take the AC spot for like 5-10 minutes and then swap it off. But no, so the movie itself, I'm not going to spoil anything about the plot details, but I will say, as referenced earlier, Xander got thrown into a table and more than one time.
Which I think the funniest part about that is that I was game for it. I was fine with it. I was prepared for it. You know, I have done stunts and like fallen and stuff where I kind of know what I'm comfortable with. And for some reason, Jake thought falling face first down where my nose could hit the floor would be safer than falling on my back. And I was like, no, I'd rather fall on my back, which logistically made more sense, I think.
I would rather see where I'm going before hitting it as opposed to being completely blind. But that's just my opinion. So that's why I said that this way.
Essentially, I was just doing a trust fall. I mean, that's all it was. It wasn't that bad.
Yep. I still got to return that back brace that I bought for you.
Yeah, I got to return the hoodie. But yeah, so so everyone, you know, I'm like game for it. I'm fine with it. And like everyone, it was so funny because all of you, Stefania, Reyes, you, Jake, you guys all seem to be very upset that I wasn't scared to be thrown through the table. Like you guys were all like, "Yeah, I guess he's gonna do it." Yeah, I don't know why he's not upset about it.
We were all concerned about you making sure that you're okay at all points in time. Because,
Yeah.
like, you know, stuntmen can go into a stunt and say, I'm ready for it, bring it on. And then, like, after it happens, or maybe right before it happens, it's like, I don't know if I feel comfortable with this. That can always happen, right? So we just want to make sure that you're safe and comfy. Exactly. We want to make sure that you're always, like, safe and comfy and happy at all points in time. So that's why we asked you a lot. We just want to make sure. We don't know.
It was just I just thought it was funny because I'm like, guys, I'm okay. Do you want me to act more concerned? I guess.
No. We just want to make sure. Constant temperature checks are always important
Right, yeah.
for stuff like that. But yeah, no. So we sent Xander through a table. We had planned it so the table had a bunch of like cushy stuff underneath, and what happened was one of the white. It's a black table. One of the bright white blankets that was packed beneath the black stuff. As soon as you hit the table the first time, that burst out, and it was just so obvious that it was a big cushion. And the shot was like, oh my god! Unless I have like a VFX guru behind this to paint that out, there's nothing I can do. So in like 45 minutes all four of us raced. Well, you kind of were laying down chilling, but a lot of us raced around to like put the table back. And then you were the one who's like, just give me a drill if you got it. You drilled the legs back into the broken table. It was like the Frankenstein's monster of a table. And we sent it again. And this time, I think we had like 2 pillows under there.
Yeah.
Under
Well,
a wooden table.
You like
That was
you
ready
like
to be
put
destroyed.
like so much cushion the first time. I was like, dude, you don't need this much. And you're like, no, we need this much. I'm like, dude, stop.
And so we were like, all right, if you're chill with it, again, a constant temperature check. If you're chill with it, we're going to throw you through this fucking table.
Yeah.
With much less safety than the first time. And we did it,
And it was fine.
and it came out awesome.
Yeah.
It looks so good.
My back hurt a little bit. It got sore, but I feel like that was mostly just because I was lying in a weird position on the broken table afterwards, because you needed me to lie there for a while for another shot. So I think
Right.
that was the only thing that was making my back hurt, and the brace probably, but that was about it.
Right, yeah, we needed you to, because the next shot demanded that you would be on the ground while she
Yeah.
yells at you, and then you start rising up. It's a whole thing. And so it was just logistically easier to film that subsequently,
Yeah.
right? Instead
I
of
know,
having to
it's-
reset on a different day. And
Yeah.
that meant you had to chill there for like an hour or two.
Yeah, and I was
Not
fine with
2
that. It
hours,
was
but,
just
like,
there
about
was
an
like
hour, I would say.
I think there was just something sticking into my back, and I was like, ugh. But yeah, that was
Yeah. Yeah, you talked about it. It was the lip of the table. The
yeah,
wooden part there.
that's what it was. Yeah.
No bruises, no scratches, though. Yay.
But yeah, talk about the filming days, man. Let's hear it from your perspective.
Oh, it was
and
so
everything.
fun. It was fucking awesome. As you know, I'm really passionate about writing, story, character development, and I have directed in the past, but I would not call directing like, my necessary strong suit. But I know how to do it. It's like I said the same metaphor before we started filming. I was like, I can play a guitar. I'm not a guitarist. So like, if you gave me sheet music, I can take time and follow along, and I can play as part of a band. But I'm not Edward Van Halen, shredding through all these crazy guitar. Like, you know what I mean? Like a
Yeah.
guitarist is not the same. So I think of the same way. Like, I'm not a director, but I know how to direct. I know how to operate equipment. I know how to direct people, manage people. I can do the things that you need to do as a director. So this is a part of my journey of being creative. I obviously wrote and directed a lot of short films in college. The ones that still exist on the internet are the ones that only I've done. The ones that are, I think, lost media are the projects I was a part of for other people, and they either lost their project files or it was just for a grade and they submitted it to the teacher and probably deleted it. So like, it kind of sucks that like my resume is like barren, even though I have all this experience.
Yeah, I get you.
So this is a project that I was really passionate about because it was something, or it is currently something that wherever we are in our respective industries, like we're all trying to break in, we're all in the same kind of place. This is just something else on the resume that looks really, really cool. You can put it in your reel, and it's just another step towards breaking in,
Yeah.
right? And if any one of us pops off, if like you become a director, if Reyes becomes a boom guy, if Stefania becomes an actress, then all of a sudden this project ties us all together, and it's a rising tide raises all ships situation.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
that's kind of how I imagined it, and basically it's beneficial to everyone involved if the movie's good. And that's my job, right? I have to do everything I can to make this movie damn good. So I'm just really, really going through with a fine-tooth comb. Actually, there was a few times where because you are also a producer and a creative at heart, you would propose ideas, we would hash them out. Sometimes I would disagree, but then sometimes you would come out with something that like I think genuinely improved the scene. Like there was a bit where before the scene began, you were like, my character should something with the door, and that played out in such a way where it's like actually that does improve. It adds a little bit more depth, just that little extra 5% of depth to that character, because in that moment they would probably decide to do something like that. So, I'm talking super vague. I'm super not anti-spoilery right now, but like, there were like little bits throughout the movie where like you would propose something, and even if I said no, I would still go to you afterwards and say, keep feeding me ideas. I always want the best idea. So
Well, I appreciate it. I'm glad I was able to help improve it. I like to help when I can. So
it was a lot of fun.
what was the biggest struggle so far for the shoot week?
Biggest struggles so far, just that week specifically, or in the whole project?
that week specifically, and then we'll do the whole project.
That week specifically, most of it went really well. Um, there were parts where I'm trying to think what I can and can't say. But there is a piece of action, right? And um, we did it a lot of different ways, a lot of different times. And I went into it with a vision of this is going to be the way I want it to be. And then in the editing room, turns out it actually works better if we use multiple bits from all of the takes we did and had it flow into itself as if it were a longer piece. And with that knowledge, I now then went back the next day, having put that together and going like, I now need an insert shot here to accommodate this. And so it kind of shows that like you can go into something with a plan, and sometimes that plan works out, sometimes it's totally fine. Sometimes that plan changes and then demands that you adjust, you course correct while you are flying the plane or whatever it is. And so I don't know if that was so much a struggle as it was just an unexpected amount of work on my part. Do you know what I mean? Like it was like I didn't plan this as part of the shooting day's schedule, but now it's borderline necessary before the day is over to get this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, you know what? Time in the day. Having enough time in the day is definitely the main counterpart there. And the trouble with that script we were shooting last week, which is not a problem in subsequent shooting days, is that we needed to shoot just at night due to the nature of the room and when the scene takes place. And so I invite my actors here, at like 12 or 1, and we all plan out the shoot. But if we're all ready by like 3 p.m. and I can't shoot until at least like 6:30 or 7, then, there was one day we put on like John Wick Chapter 4 because that we actually can't do anything.
Yeah.
So I felt a little bit bad about that. I would have invited you guys a little later, or I guess them, because you lived in my house, so it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Regardless, it was a lot of fun, and we got it all done. We wrapped shooting on the 3rd day at 1 a.m., and I'm very proud that was the end.
Because I think if we had closed early on Monday, I don't think we would have been able to do that. I think us going really late on that first day helped a lot.
I agree completely. I think, especially because if it was a script that took place in the daytime, it would be all reversed. You have to get here like 6 in the morning, 7 in the morning, and then go until 6:30 p.m. and then, sleep at night like a normal person, but then prepare the next morning to wake up super early and come back out. That might have been worse for everybody involved. So.
Yeah. What was the biggest thing you've learned from filming that week? What was the biggest takeaway learning?
I learned that, and I kind of knew this going in, but it just became apparent to me, like through the act of doing, that being the writer, director, and producer at the same time is a very good thing, because you are able to, because you created the ideas, you are the one that wrote out the ideas, you are envisioning the ideas, you are making the ideas happen. If those are different people along the way, yeah, they can agree with each other in most parts, but for filming in execution, maybe the director is like, ooh, let's change this one idea to make this happen instead, and the writer's like, that wasn't the intent of the scene at all. Now sometimes that's fine and then can work and even be better, but then sometimes that kind of goes against the intent of the scene, and that's why you need script supervisors, you need line producers, you need just everybody, all these teams of people. There's a reason that movies cost millions of dollars. You need to hire hundreds of people for a big movie at any given time, all day, basically. And so it's just as long as the movie ends up being the intent of like what the movie is trying to say, the creative, the pacing, the whatever the message is, then it's fine at the end of the day. Trying to preserve those basic fundamental ideas of a story against the grain of the practicalities of filming, and sometimes things demand certain practical logistical things that you can't accommodate. Sometimes things need to be cut out. Sometimes things need to be added that aren't necessary or wouldn't be there otherwise. And then in the editing bay, that all happens again, because sometimes the editor can take all this footage and say, flow-wise, this doesn't work, or, pacing-wise, I need a bit here that wasn't in the script. And the thing I learned to get back to the question here, is that, and this is just with a $0 film. If you're gonna do a movie, like a bigger movie, and anyone's giving you some kind of budget to do it, be prepared to change if necessary. So the script, it's not a guideline. It's more than that. It's something that should be like treated as, you know, more or less a gospel, unless necessary. But in certain contexts, when making a movie, it is just a guideline. For example, I planned 3 action scenes that flowed into the table crash, right?
Yeah.
We spent all day one on the first one because I knew it was the most complicated one. So I wanted to spend that out. We got that all done. Okay. And then the next day, I had planned each of the 3 days to be prep time during the daytime for the action scenes. But Tuesday, which is the second day, we had Brendan come over so we could shoot a bit of segment 4 because we were all in the same place at the same time.
Right,
and that's when that would demand that. So we did, I don't think we did any choreo that day. We did choreo the third day for the second part. And I realized that of the 3 bits of choreography, the third one was the least necessary because the end of the second piece can transition into the table crash. And that narratively works just fine. So that would be an example of like, you know, the script demanded this, but for logistical reasons, it actually didn't really affect the pacing to quickly move because it would have been like another 5 or 10 seconds of footage anyway. So it didn't make that much sense to keep that given the time constraints and the fact that we had accomplished everything else choreo-wise already. It was just acting. And actually, I'm really proud of myself on this part. I saved the easiest dialogue bits for the last day, and we did all the complicated shit as early as possible. Yeah. And so Wednesday night, and you'll attest to this, all we had was just you two sitting at a couch talking and a couple of insert shots.
Yeah.
And as soon as we banged that out, we were wrapped.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be so shitty if we started Monday doing all the talking bits and then Wednesday night at 11 p.m. as the hours went on, we had to do this crazy action scene? That'd be fucking terrible. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, no, I mean, it's an interesting take. Yeah, I mean, basically, you'll only learn more.
Can I ask
yeah,
you,
I mean,
actually, I know this is more about me and my project, but
sure.
Through the act of doing movies, not necessarily with my movie, but like just directing and producing and writing and stuff like that in your journey, what do you think is the biggest thing you've learned that you wouldn't otherwise have known unless you started doing it?
Oh, shoot.
It's a tough question to answer. You got to really sit on it, you know?
Things will always take longer than you think.
Yeah. Time in the day, baby.
And yeah, I mean, it's time usually is the biggest thing that I've learned. I don't know. I mean, really, there's so much that I feel like there's a lot of things that you just like, you shouldn't stop yourself from trying to do. There's usually a solution that you can do creatively, and sometimes, a lot of times, with limits, it'll bring a better thing. There's been a lot of things in my projects that haven't worked out the way I wanted them to, and so I had to find a different way to do it, and usually it ends up being better than how I originally did it. If I had just like stuck to the script that I wrote and like stuck to my head, I don't think it would have come out as good as what I did later to accommodate. I also definitely, as an editor, as someone who writes, directs, and edits, the editing has really taught me that the biggest thing is not to be married to what you've written or what you've shot. Even if something took an entire day to shoot, if it doesn't look good in the editing room, you got to just scrap it and do something different, because at the end of the day, what matters is the film, not like, you know, sometimes, I don't know, sometimes things just don't work out, and you got to just be able to do that, and it's a hard thing to do if you're editing things yourself. But I've very much learned a lot to just divorce myself from what I wrote or the time I took in the directing and stuff. Even if a shot looks good, if it's not working, it's better to scrap it and try a different way. So I'd say those are the lessons that have been most helpful for me.
No, I totally get that, and in many ways, I actually agree with you. You know,
Yeah.
you got to do what's best for the movie you're making. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, on any of your projects, and we can go back and forth if you want.
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Sure.
Is there something that you had written for, like, let's say an EQS monster movie or whatever else that you were like in the editing room or maybe in production even you were like, this doesn't need to be here, let's do something else, or let's transition quicker to the next scene or whatever
Oh
it is?
yeah, all of them. All of them. There's cut there's cut scenes from every script. Anxiety's Moon, the kill with the skateboarder dude. Originally he was on a hill and he was looking down and the and he's on a hill, he was skateboarding around and stuff, and he looks down at a baseball field because the park I was at had like a bunch of different baseball fields. So he looks down at a baseball field, and in the distance he sees the werewolf, and it's just kind of staring at him. And I think, if I remember correctly, originally it just stares at him, and like he can tell, he just gets like this sense, and then that's when the stadium lights, it's been dark enough that they go out and they click out.
Okay.
And he just realizes, oh shit. And his car is down the hill, so he gets on a skateboard and he starts going down the hill. And then the next thing he knows, the werewolf like goes at him. And
Did
he
you
misses.
have a, not to interrupt, but did you have a plan? Like, did you know someone who runs the field, or were you just gonna guerrilla filmmake at midnight?
It was just guerrilla, and I had
Okay.
figured that we wait long enough. We just time it. The lights go out.
Sure.
Shot wise, it would have been easy. I mean, we would just got.
Oh yeah, shot wise, I can imagine just running out, doing it, and leaving. But like, you can't control the lights unless you.
The
get permission.
controlling the lights wouldn't have been the issue. It would have just been like we just get one take, and it's just me standing out in the distance of the field, and then you just wait for a little bit, and then bam, the lights go out.
Sure.
But yeah, so the lights. I think it was either right before the lights go out, the werewolf started moving, or it was just like you could tell it was a werewolf. Like you were supposed to tell from the distance it was a werewolf, and it's like, oh shit.
Right.
So he goes down. The werewolf tries to attack him. I think he like stumbles off his thing, he falls into the field, and it would be a wide shot of like him running, and the werewolf like chasing him. He jumps him and he catches him. And it would have been great. Problem was, we had the hill, we had everything, the lights were staying on, everything was fine. Me out in that field with the cameras we had, from the distance that we did, you couldn't tell. You couldn't see me. It was so dark out that you could not fucking see me. And it just was like, there was just nothing there. And also it was like the stadium lights were inconsistent because they turned them on only if there was a game going on that night. So if there's no game going on, the stadium lights they just keep them off. So there was that too. And it just didn't work out. So that's when, and so we tried so many different ways to get that kind of field before eventually, because then it turned into, okay, well, what if we're closer to the field? What if we shine car headlights at the field and they go out or something? Still didn't work. And it just, nothing was going. So that's when eventually we got to being it. I was in the parking lot. He had his car lights on so he could see while he was, skating. And then that's when we did the silhouette shot. And then that's when we did the lights go out and he goes, oh fuck. And so it came out a lot better, in my opinion, and I liked it a lot more. And so that was probably the biggest one. Unseen Obsession, there was supposed to be a bit where he drinks water or something, and you could see it, and he had like his shirt open, and so you could see the water flowing down, or like a soda or wine flowing down. and we didn't really get a chance to test it, and the green screen shit was so complex, and it was just so many things to do
Sure.
that it would have just taken so much time. Because the idea was like he's supposed to drink the water. He's like, oh fuck, are you kidding me? Like you can like see this is gonna ruin it. I can't eat before I go out or anything. So so it's supposed to be a big thing, like where like he finds out, oh shit, food doesn't stay hidden.
I mean, of all the practical effects in Unseen that I'm like remembering, I guess narratively that one could be cut. It's
Yeah.
the least important. So that was a good decision. Not a good
Yeah,
one, but, like,
so-
it was the one to make in that case.
Yeah, so it just was like it was just for time and stuff, and just like energy. It was just better just to focus on the other endeavors, the cooler shots, the better ones, and so then I was like, I'll just have him hypothesize it,
Right.
because I mean it just made sense that he could, like, it's like, oh yeah, if I eat, nothing's gonna happen. So that worked fine. And then Cold Embrace. What was it that I really had to change up? Man, I'm trying to think. That one was the one I ended up managing to get nearly, I want to say every single thing in that I wanted, to be honest. And yeah, there really wasn't anything in the script that I couldn't get in.
I was gonna
It
say, having read the script ahead of time, I think that's pretty 1-to-1.
Yeah, I mean, the script you read, I think I had made a few changes afterwards, but those changes were still in it. Yeah, I really think the only thing was like maybe some dialogue changed here or there. Honestly, the biggest thing with Cold Embrace was that the vision of Draco's house wasn't what I wanted. I really wanted it to be multiple rooms, and I really wanted it to be more dilapidated, and like it really looked like different places and stuff. I didn't want it to just be one singular living room that changed around. I wanted multiple rooms. I wanted that gothic aesthetic. I wanted to really like up the production value and stuff. But I couldn't find anything. But I think it worked out anyway, because in a subtext and an unspoken sort of thing, Draco was making a play. And what does one do on stage but change around the stage? I mean, there's never going, like, a lot of lower play productions, you'll have the stage, maybe there'll be like a regular background, they just they swap around some stuff, put a few blocks down, things like that. And so it ended up narratively really working out that it was just that living room we were confined to, because it looked like Draco was just stage decoring, changing up the stage, even though and I mean it looked different enough. I mean, you could tell it was the same place, but you also could tell that things were swapped around, but like it looked purposeful. And that was the biggest thing. And then I guess this counts. It also doesn't count because I was mainly producing. I helped write the script. I produced it. I was pretty much producer for that. And I acted and I edited. But Red, which was Garrett's, that was Garrett's directing thing. He helped write this.
I told you that Cold Embrace is my favorite thing that you've directed. But if it's things that you're in, Cold Embrace and Red are like tied.
Oh yeah.
Favorites.
Yeah. No. I co-wrote Red with Garrett. He directed it. I produced it, which it took so much out of me because I had just been on Unseen Obsession, and then there was bed bugs, and then there was all this stuff that was going on. And then,
is that a name of a film, or did you actually have bed bugs?
No, I actually had bed bugs. That was the whole thing.
Horrible.
Yeah, because I think I've told this story, but just really quick before I start explaining Red. After we finished on CM Session, we premiered it, and I had been working like a dog, so I was ready in October to be like, just hang out, chill. And then I discovered the bed bugs were all over my mom's house, and my mom's at the time house was like cluttered, and her garage was super cluttered too. And they told us, yeah, you're gonna have to declutter before we can treat anything. So I had to spend all of October nonstop, day in, day out, night, long hours through the night, only stopping during work. Literally just during work. Cleaning out the garage, decluttering the garage, reorganizing the garage, and then cleaning out the whole entire house. That is a living room, kitchen, 2 bedrooms, two bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. You're fine. All that, decluttering it, and then putting things away that were going to stay stored away, and then boxing up the entire house as if you were going to move out, and bringing all of that into the garage, and then waiting 2 weeks for the bedbug treatment to finish, and then unpacking everything. And that lasted all the way until December, until basically Christmas. And it took a lot out of me, but and so then after that, then I went right into trying to develop Entombed Memories, the Mummy, or Project Wrapped, and then that all failed, and then I went into starting Project Bite, Cold Embrace, and then there was a was it? I don't remember the timeline at this point. It's getting hard. Either way, the point is, it came to a point where I was like, oh, great, this October I can just chill, relax, enjoy my favorite month of the year. And then this film festival contest that my friend, one of our mutual friends came up with. And I pretty much just spent the month before and October doing nothing but trying to get this thing produced, made, and editing it. But with Red, the biggest thing was because there was so much that we didn't manage to be able to film, that we just forgotten about, and we only got 2 nights to shoot. I had to change up a lot of the editing. But it must have been the better for it, because everyone was like, holy shit, this editing is amazing, dude. And I was like, thank you. So, those would be like the biggest examples I can think of like changes I had to make or things that I had to take out.
Sure. No, that makes a lot of sense to me. It's pretty good stuff. I'm so excited to share my movie with the world when the time is right. Obviously, we know it's 60 pages. It's about an hour long. I am really excited to see what subsequent segments will look like in the editing bay. I've still put I want to say I've put like half of the footage assembled in segment 2 right now. I've been working a lot because I didn't work all week last week, obviously.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of time in the editing bay. Plus, I got to get UMP out in like 2 days. So that's also a project on the agenda here. But from what I've seen so far, it's really cool. It's really fucking fun, really exciting. I've edited the entire intro and the door interaction between you and her before you're in the house. And
nice.
It flows really nice. There's a lot of things I'm learning about Final Cut Pro too, like making a magnetic mask, right?
Oh, yeah.
And you rewind like 10, 15 years ago, if you wanted to cut something moving out of an image, there was really no better tool than either rotoscoping or really fancy CGI tools that can track things, track markers and stuff. Now, Final Cut just has like a plugin. I think it comes stock with. I don't even think it's a plugin. I think it just comes stock with it, and it just like says, what do you want to put something behind? This thing moving? Great. Let me analyze that for 5 seconds. Okay, now you can do it. And you can dial it in like the feather edge. It's Photoshop. I'm an expert in Photoshop. I'm a graphic designer. So Final Cut in many ways is just visual Photoshop.
Yeah.
So just using those similar tools but over the course of many frames instead of just one It's really fun. Not gonna lie, it's really
Yeah.
cool.
I love editing. It's my favorite part. I really like it. So yeah, I guess just to ask again, like what is the biggest thing you've learned in the project overall so far, and what was the biggest challenge, or what has been the biggest challenge so far?
The biggest challenge so far is balancing this is a challenge that only becomes because it is not like a paid project or something with a real budget. It's balancing the rest of my life around this free time, money sucking, no return thing that I just like doing.
Yeah.
It's like, and I'm kind of like bullshitting a lot of it in the sense of like, to get my props, I'm buying them on Amazon and then returning them 30 days later. We're kind of squeezing our way around things. We're kind of cheating some parts, but make no mistake, it is still, if not spending money, I'm spending time. Right? It's just a lot of I haven't been watching movies recently. I haven't been able to do that as much. I think I touched a game controller last because I had to call Mass Health and they leave you on hold for a long time. But I don't want to like be distracted watching a movie, so I gotta do something that I can listen to it. So that's the last time I was near a game console. Except for you, we came over and played Gauntlet, and then for some reason that put you to sleep. You were like,
I was comfy, man.
Knockout.
I was comfy. It happens, dude. If I'm comfortable, I do fall asleep.
No, my couches have no business being that comfortable, so that's not your fault at all. But yeah, it's just a lot of time investment, and that would be the biggest challenge, is just the balance. I think I've started to strike a good balance now, especially that I'm not shooting at the moment. But come Tuesday, it'll all reset again.
Right. Yep. All right. Well, I think that's good. I mean, I can't ask of too much more. When do we think it will be released?
So, if all goes to schedule, late 2026. But I'm not opposed to doing early 2027. Worst case. The thing is, my baby's born August 1st. Right. So, my plan is to get it all shot by the end of June. Mm-hmm. July if I have to, but the end of June, really early July. And then the month before and after my baby's born is just, my time with my baby. I'll leave the house to do DoorDash to pay some bills, come home, spend time with my son, and that's it. And that'll be my life. And I'll be in the editing bay, while this is happening, and just assembling everything, doing post-production, doing ADR if I need to. I'm really particular about audio. I want to do all the ADR on the same microphone that I need to, except for you because you live across the country. That's fine. But I probably won't need any of your dialogue anyway. I think I have everything I need. But regardless, I'm going to be really focusing on the post-production angle and just watching the assembly cut over and over and over again, just tweaking things until we're ready to start, shaving it down into the movie it should be.
Right, yeah.
And I assume... no concrete dates or anything, but I assume that'll be like September, October-ish when that's all done. It'll take a little bit of time because, again, I can't dedicate all my time to this, unfortunately. I have to go to work every day. Yeah. But it's a situation where when I'm comfortable with it, I'll release it. And anyone who's a creative knows you're never truly satisfied with something you've done. I'm sure in the editing bay, if you watched your current cut of Cold Embrace, you'd be like, ooh, I want to tweak this part. Ooh, I want to change that edit. I want to make that cut a little faster, whatever it is. But at a certain point, you have to say to yourself, like, I have to put this out into the world. I have to release it. We're done.
Basically. No, you're 100% right. No. Well, I don't think there's much else to talk about. I mean, Massachusetts was cool.
So fun.
Your house was really cool. We went to this really cool bar and arcade that we found on Thursday. That was really fun. It was like $8 to get in. They had a bar, they served pizza, and then it was just, oh my god, they had so many arcade machines as far as I could see. Man. Whole room dedicated to just pinball tables, and it was all just like free play. And you were able to stay there until they closed, and I was like, Jesus, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's almost like, in a world where everything is inflated and so expensive, it's almost like too cheap. Like, I'm kind of concerned, like, how is it that cheap? You get to spend all day there if you want to. I mean, granted, it's your time being wasted. You don't get to go to work anymore, but like, it's just it's a fun thing. I'm shocked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's the bar too, so I'm sure they make
that's where they're making real money. They may sell pizza and alcohol
Yeah, because it's just a cover charge, so that's the whole thing. So
Right.
um, yeah, that place was cool. I wanted to stay there longer, but we had to get back to your house to do stuff.
Yeah, unfortunately.
It's
But it
it's
was fun as
funny.
fuck.
It's funny too because I would have stayed in Mass a bit longer, but you had your convention to get to.
I
That's
did.
why we couldn't stay a little bit longer.
I did. I had to fly
Um,
out to Texas that week. Oh, and real quick, before we move on from the subject, the other thing we did that day, I brought your ass rock climbing.
Oh
And,
yes, that's right. Because I was like, "So we're gonna do rock climbing?" You're like, "Yo, what?"
Yo, like that's the other thing I like besides movies is ascending up a rock wall. So I had to experience that with you.
That was fun. Very tiring. My hands
Yes.
hurt afterwards. That might
always
be
happens.
that's probably the only reason why I won't continue it because my hands were hurt and I'm a little bitch.
No. Your hands hurt the first like week. Like like if you go continuously, it'll be like the first like 5 or 6 times, and then you have little calluses.
Yeah.
And then they don't hurt. And it's fine. And then your
That's
stamina
true.
gets better anyway. So if this is something that like your first time is the most difficult time.
Yeah.
So already your next time will be easier and easier and easier.
It was fun. I liked scaling the big wall.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the fear got to me at some point. I could have
It
kept
did.
going, but it got to me. I think what did I make it like halfway up?
We actually have video evidence. Yes, you made it about halfway up.
Which I mean,
It's in the Discord.
I consider that a win. I consider that a win, considering all things considered. But then there was this little kid who's like, fucking like had to have been like 6, and he's literally at the very top. And I was like, oh, okay, well,
Yeah, that's gonna
It
be my
shows how
son
much-
one day.
yeah. Yeah, I don't know what it was. It was like I got up there. I didn't even look down or anything. I just like I became hyper aware of how far up I was, and I was just like, what if the safety rope that's been tested a million times is never gonna fail, because then the city,
The
the
one
whole
that
building,
I had mentioned to you is graded to hold an elephant.
yeah, what if it doesn't work? What if I'm the statistic?
Right. Exactly.
And it got to me. I don't know. It's just like when you're that high up and you just think about it and you're like, oh fuck.
It is a psychological thing. You gotta
Yeah.
make that leap in your head. So I understand that completely. But like
But,
also think about it this way too. If you're halfway up the rock wall and you are the statistic, you're dead anyway. So you may as well go to the top. You're not gonna be alive because you're only 15 feet in the air instead of 30 feet in the air.
That's true. But no, I had a good time. That was really fun. You took me to your local mall.
Yep.
Oh yeah, we should talk about that. You had your own stingy theater employee moment.
That was the first time I had ever, and you know this because every time I've shared an experience, I've been like, no, it's the easiest thing. You walk right in. I just say I'm here for the merch. I get merch. I leave. And this
Yeah.
is the first time. Of course, it's the one time you're here where there actually was a little bit of drama involved. And so
Yeah.
I had walked in. Now, mind you, I had walked in. This has never happened before. Every time I've wanted merch, I just walk in, say I'm here for the merch, whatever. And so I walk in, and the guy stops me. He's like, you got a ticket? I'm like, oh no, I'm just here for the merch. And he's like, oh, you have to have a ticket to get the merch. And I was like, oh, okay. So I opened up my AMC A list. I by chance happened to have a Mandalorian ticket at a different AMC, but still at an AMC. And I showed him the ticket. He's like, oh, okay. Wait a minute, wait. Oh, that's the other location. No. You got to have a ticket for this theater. I was like, okay, strange. So I just opened up the app. I clicked the first movie. It was Passenger. Got a ticket. Showed it to him. He scanned it and then deleted it. And I walked in, and he's like, "Oh, sorry. You gotta have a." This is what he said. That's just a random movie. You have to have a ticket for the movie that you're here to see at this theater. That's for that specific piece of merchandise that you want to buy. And then I looked at him, said nothing, and walked up to the merchandise counter anyway. And he didn't stop me. I looked at you. I was like, that was like a surreal thing to say. There's no way they're monitoring that. Like,
Yeah.
and also like I could have just got a ticket and deleted it anyway to the Mandalorian. Like it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Like it. What does that change on their back end at all? It
It-
doesn't. So yeah.
What added to it was so he's giving Jake all this shit. I'm right there. I just walked over to the concession. Bro says nothing to me, doesn't give me any shit, nothing at all. And I'm just...
It was so funny. It's like Xander didn't even need a ticket. He didn't need to say any words out loud. Like it's like you were my dog. Like
Yeah.
you're just walking, not acknowledged in any way.
And
so
then
it was so funny.
And then I felt so bad for the cashier. You go up and you're like, yeah, can I use my points to buy it? And she goes, no, you can't. You can't use any of the points. And you're like, okay, one bucket. And, and she goes, you get one large popcorn with it. Do you want it on a separate side? Okay, cool.
Yep. It was.
And you could tell this poor girl was going through it. She probably had to deal with like 50 Star Wars fans, all being little bitches.
We were there Thursday
so
night, which means that it was like premiere night of Mandalorian. Granted, it's a sequel to a Disney Plus TV show, so not clearly it's the lowest opening of Star Wars. It's set up for failure, and regardless, but still, it's Star Wars on it, so it's gonna have a fan base. So yeah, she's clearly running around doing a bunch of stuff. I mean, I didn't really give a shit. She still did what I wanted. She still gave me the damn popcorn on the side.
No, I wasn't like upset at her. I was like, damn, I feel so bad for her. She's going through it. You could tell that like she had a day, and I was like, she had a day,
yeah. She does not compare to that fucking guy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Then we walked through your local mall. That place was pretty cool. We found a Skittles machine that was so lame.
Because it let you choose which Skittles you wanted. Like, you could choose the red, the yellow, the blue, whatever the colors were. And then it let you choose a separate category of wild berry or whatever else. And then you're like, well, what if I want the blue of the wild berry and nothing else? And I was like, I guess the machine doesn't care about you, man.
But then it was like, and like, I'm like, okay, I get that. But it's just more beneficial to go over to like the store and grab just a wild berry pack. There's no novelty in choosing the wild berry mix.
What if you equally like wild berry Skittles, but also the red normal Skittles? You can do half and half.
I guess. I want the ability to play full God. I don't want to play this half measure shit.
Do you know how many
and you're like saying you're
machines
like
you'd need to do that?
yeah, you're like that. I'm like, yeah, just make it taller. You don't have to make it that wide. Just change the layout. It's not that tough. But the funnier thing is, who the fuck chooses lemon? Who the hell says, I want a full cup of lemon Skittles?
The worst one. Easy. But I guess,
nobody.
It didn't matter to me because Skittles are kind of gross. But
also, you could only choose like 3. Like, you could only fill up it like in 3. The cup was 3 different levels. So, yeah. But yeah, that was funny. And then I think we went. That's when we found the bakery. And then that was we played a round of Horrified. We did Horrified together.
Which, if you're listening to this, will definitely be on the channel by now because it's gonna go up on the 1st.
Yeah.
I actually have the Final Cut pulled up on my laptop to edit that episode.
Wow.
And I'm committing myself to editing that episode before I go back to users because that has a sharp deadline of a couple days. So.
But yeah, I mean, I think that's it. Had a great time. I almost died from the way Jake drives, but that's okay.
Listen, man, it's not me. Maybe I'm part of the problem, but everyone else on the roads in Boston isn't exactly the friendliest guy in the world. All right, let's be clear about that.
That's true. 2 people almost crashed into us. That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, there were some psychopaths out there. I was like shocked.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for our episode. That was a good hour 30. Which is probably less after I cut out all the dead air, but that's fine.
It's a lot of work for you because you're gonna have 5 separate audio tracks. Now, granted, this latest audio track has been kicking, so that port was the problem. I fixed it. That's true.
Now, for the love of God, remember to send me the audio tracks right after this, so I'm not stuck here waiting.
For the love of God, did you guys send me my audios yet or no?
Did you not check the Jake folder?
I don't even know where I am.
Oh my God! I will send you the link to the Jake folder right now.
I'll check the Jake folder because admittedly, I did not at all, so I will check the Jake folder.
Oh, wow! Would you look at that?
Listen, I'm preparing for your show.
Oh, look at that!
Damn it.
28 audio, up 28 video, uploaded on May 25th. Would you look at that? Whose fault?
I have to find the Jake folder every time. I have to click shared with me and scroll. Like, are we savages? Like, are we cavemen?
Oh my God!
See, here it is, way at the bottom. Oh,
you know
my
what?
God, I have to download
you know what?
This,
Just
I have to download
just so that you're not. Oh, have I sent it to you in our DMs? Or
No. I haven't. It's actually downloaded now.
Is it in the ump? Is that where it's in the ump thing?
I've downloaded you and Bruce's audio. I'm currently downloading both of your videos.
Okay. You know what? Just because I've put the link to the Jake folder here. I am going to pin it in the ump group chat. There is now no excuse. All you have to do now is just click pinned messages, and it will be right there.
Wow, I can't wait to still not do that.
Oh my god, this
I'm
man.
so excited. I'm jazzed up about not doing that.
But yeah, I think that's our show. Have a great day. Thanks for listening.
Farewell. Bye.